Thanks for joining us for our 2025 Winter Weather Special.
Over the next 30 minutes, we'll look ahead to the forecast for this winter.
And we'll look back at the top weather events of 2025, including that major snowstorm in January.
Plus, we'll take a look at the science behind how a snowflake is formed.
And we'll all give our predictions for how much snow we'll get this winter.
And to start, let's dive into our upcoming winter weather forecast. Snow, ice, and rain. Kansas City gets it all during the winter, sometimes all in one day. Even though we've seen some decent rain in November, we are still in moderate drought. So even though snow and ice make life more difficult for many people, it is precipitation we need this winter so we do not go into the spring with drought conditions. So how much snow, ice, and rain will this winter bring to Kansas City? Will it be warmer or colder than average? In order to make our winter forecast, we use the LRC, Lezak's Recurring Cycle, discovered by former KSHB 41 Chief Meteorologist Gary Lezak. The LRC states that a new and unique weather pattern sets up in October and November and begins to cycle through the winter, spring, and summer of the next year. Other factors like El Nino, La Nina, and the Arctic Oscillation act along with the LRC. We are able to see where storm systems are reaching their peak strength and where they are at their weakest. During the development stage of this year's LRC, we are seeing storm systems reach their peak strength near the west coast of the United States and in the Great Lakes to New England. Storm systems have been struggling to hold together from the southern Rockies to the Mississippi River, but some of the systems have held together just long enough to bring KC decent precipitation. Also, we have seen systems gain strength as they move to the east of Kansas City, and some of these have organized enough to bring precipitation to Kansas City before they head east to become much bigger storm systems. So what does this mean for our area in Kansas City? It looks like a warmer than average winter. This does not mean we won't see a brief period or two of Arctic air. Kansas City will also see near to above average precipitation. Keep in mind, December to February are on average the driest months of the year, as we average a total of 4.21 inches of rain and melted snow. So it does not take much precipitation to be above average. Now, KC averages 18 inches of snow between October and March, and I'm expecting 12 to 17 inches of snow. There's one potential setup where we have to watch for an ice storm. What does this mean for the winter across the United States? Well, the stormiest locations will be along the West Coast, especially the Southwest USA, and the Tennessee Valley to New England. A third wetter location will be found from Montana to the Dakotas. Temperatures will run mostly above average for much of the United States, except the Southwest USA and New England. I'm KSHB 41 meteorologist Jeff Penner.
We want to take a moment to welcome our newest meteorologist, Lauren Rainson. Lauren, welcome.
Thank you.
We are so excited to have you here and to get to know you a little bit better. We're going to play a little game called This or That.
Ooh.
Now, we'll start with a few weather-related questions. Do you prefer 105 in terms of humidity added or just a dry 105?
I'm coming from Phoenix, Arizona. Definitely prefer the traditional dry heat over the humidity and the high heat.
Okay.
Although I will say the last 3.5 years I was in Phoenix, there was no such thing as the dry heat. It was the triple-digit temperatures with the high humidity that we see right here in the Midwest. It was awful.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
All right, how about my question here, severe weather or winter weather?
Probably severe weather, because that's just my initial fascination with the weather. I mean, that's how I got all into this in the beginning from childhood. Growing up in Illinois, my backyard was a cornfield, so I always got to see the incoming storms, the funnel clouds overhead. I'd go with severe weather.
Nice.
I like that answer. I would like to know, do you prefer sunrises or sunsets?
Probably sunsets, especially when you got the clouds really painting the sky, adding all the extra colors in the evening.
Okay, you're going to be our newest morning meteorologist, so now we're going to throw some non-weather related questions at you. Do you prefer coffee or tea?
Actually, neither.
Oh.
I do not drink either.
Whoa.
I know, and so many people ask me, well, how the heck do you function working on a morning shift
Right.
and no coffee? I just do. I don't know. I guess I'm weird like that.
Now, my question, cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Dogs, okay.
Big dogs, though.
Okay,
Yes.
big dogs.
Not the little rat dogs.
I gotcha. Big dogs.
And
Got
I'm
it.
talking real extra large, like Saint Bernard,
Oh, wow.
Mastiff, large.
Nice. All right.
Well, on a smaller scale, cakes or pies?
Pies.
Pies.
They're just tastier. Oh.
You have a preference? Type of pie?
No, actually, I'm really not picky though. Any sweets, desserts, I'm all for it though.
All right, so it doesn't need caffeine to wake up
Nope.
and to wake you up. Make sure you watch Lauren every weekday morning right here on KSHB 41. We're counting down the top 5 weather events of 2025, from destructive windstorms to record-setting floods, tornadoes, and blizzard warnings. We begin at number 5 with the powerful early spring storm on March 4th and 5th. Damaging wind gusts spread across the region, blocking out 190,000 electric customers, possibly the most of the year, as non-thunderstorm wind blew at 65 to 70 miles per hour. As the wind increased, cold air came in, changing rain to snow, creating blizzard conditions.
With the rain and the snow, coming at, almost the same time, that kind of made it a little bit more intense.
At number 4, the historic mid-July flooding. July 16th and 17th, thunderstorms repeatedly trained over the metro, dropping 2.78 inches of rain, the wettest July day since 2017. In Wyandotte County, they said flooding had not been that bad since the early 1990s.
Ooh, boy. Wasn't expecting this, but oh well.
Washing out roads, stalling vehicles, and sending water rushing through neighborhoods. Number 3 goes to the June 3rd tornadoes. A line of storms tracked directly toward Arrowhead Stadium, producing a tornado that hit the Truman Sports Complex before continuing into Independence as a second tornado developed.
And I looked out to see what the weather was doing. That's when it all hit.
Trees were uprooted, homes were damaged, and thousands of customers lost power as the system pushed east. Our number 2 event hit just weeks earlier on May 19th, producing the biggest storm reports of the year. A fast-moving line of storms slammed into the metro with 76-mile-per-hour wind gusts, egg-sized hail, and 2 tornadoes south of Kansas City. Rain fell so quickly that I-35 flooded in spots, forcing emergency crews to close lanes. And the top weather event of 2025 goes back to the beginning of the year. On January 5th and 6th, freezing rain coated the region, then shifted to heavy snow and fierce winds.
We won't be able to go to school tomorrow, so I'm excited.
Parts of our area were placed under a blizzard warning for the first time in years, with whiteout conditions and dangerous travel shutting down roads. Meteorologist Jeff Penner has more.
January 5th, 2025 was one for the record books in Kansas City. By the end of the day, most areas in the metro were buried under at least 10 inches of snow, something that's only happened 7 times since record keeping began in 1888 and not since February 25th, 1993. Here is a timeline of what happened. An Arctic air mass moved in January 3rd and 4th as a strong storm system tracked east across the Rocky Mountains into the plains from the Pacific Ocean. This set the stage for a major winter storm along the I-70 corridor from Kansas to the East Coast. A severe weather outbreak occurred from Louisiana, Arkansas, Mississippi to western Tennessee, including 20 tornado reports. The snow is just part of the winter storm story in our area. First, freezing drizzle and rain started around noon Saturday, January 4th, with temperatures in the low to mid-20s. This turned roads and sidewalks into skating rinks, causing countless accidents. The freezing drizzle changed to sleet, then heavy snow Saturday night, and by the morning of the 5th, there was already 4 to 6 inches of snow on the ground. I was on the air Sunday morning
expecting 10 to 15 inches of snow citywide,
making a forecast for the Kansas City area that I have never have in my 33-year career. The snow continued heavy at times all day Sunday, with temperatures dropping to the teens. The storm took an even more significant turn Sunday afternoon when north winds increased, gusting to 40 miles per hour. This created a full-out blizzard with wind chill values below zero. The snowstorm ended by Monday morning, January 6th, leaving 8 to 15 inches of snow and 2 to 6 foot drifts, not only in Kansas City, but all along the I-70 corridor to the East Coast. KCI, the official reporting station for Kansas City, measured 11 inches of snow for January 5th, 2025, making it the third biggest one-day snowfall in Kansas City since records began in 1888.
Even the biggest of snowy weather events have to start somewhere. Where does a snowflake come from? And how does it form? It all starts at the microscopic level. Snowflakes don't just appear out of nowhere. They do have to start forming on something. And usually that is the tiniest of tiny dust particles when these water molecules can finally grab onto something and start to grow. Now, it's not that the molecule grows itself, it's that it bonds to other water molecules in the sky. We're talking up in the cloud. Now, you might know H2O, water, 2 hydrogen, 1 oxygen. They bond in a very particular shape. They make these beautiful triangles when they bond together. And when other water molecules start to attach onto these, they form these wonderful hexagonal patterns. And you might be picking up already where this is going if you've seen snowflakes under a microscope or just the big ones in person. Because yes, we go from the microscopic level to something that you can actually see as more and more of these start to bond together and come together and form these hexagonal ice crystals. Now, sometimes snowflakes look just like that, but we can get them to grow even further into something we call dendrites, the classic snowfalls or snowflake shape. You've probably thinking of this shape when you think of snowflakes. The dendrites are the wings, the spikes, the arms that form onto the ends of these crystals, but we also just call this type of snowflake in general a dendrite. And you're going to hear more on that word in just a moment, because these are some very efficient snow producers when you want lots of snow. These stack together very well. They help accumulate snow faster. In fact, there's something called the dendritic growth zone, which happens up in the clouds between about 0 Fahrenheit and 10 degrees Fahrenheit. If you can get that kind of temperature up in the clouds for efficient snow development, you're going to form dendrites at that temperature, and those stack together well. They can pile up easier. If you want bigger snows, probably going to have dendrites involved. You might have heard the phrase too cold to snow. Well, sometimes it can be too cold for efficient snow. If the air is exceptionally cold in the clouds, like below 8 degrees, -8 Fahrenheit, you're only going to get these snowflakes that are plates or columns. They will literally look just like that. Those flat sort of shaped things, they don't stack very well at all. Think of dumping a pile of paper clips down on the floor. They would just compress really easily. They don't stack well. If you want bigger snows, if you want those to stack, you want dendrites. And if you can get a ton of moisture and lift in the dendritic growth zone, chances are you're going to be in line for some big snow. And that's something you snow lovers are sure to be welcome to hear as we go throughout the rest of this season.
It gets really cold here in Kansas City, especially after it snows or maybe after it sleets. And that means there's ice on the roads, on your driveway. So it's really important that you know which type of ice melt to use based on what the temperature is outside. So we have 3 common ice melts here. We have good old sodium chloride. This is literally just table salt. Magnesium chloride and calcium chloride. I'm not going to put those in my mouth. We're going to test and see first which one melts the ice faster and which one helps keep the ice liquid as we put it back into the freezer. First up, sodium chloride. Again, good old table salt. We're just going to put about a half a scoop on each one of these. So now we'll give this some time, see how it works out. Okay, it's been about 5 minutes. Let's check in on these. Sodium chloride. Yeah, we got some melting in here. You can see some water coming out. Magnesium chloride, a lot more water just kind of pouring out the side here. And then the calcium chloride, I mean, this thing is absolutely full of water. Calcium chloride, it melts faster and it melts at a colder temperature, as cold as about negative 20 degrees. So when it's really, really cold at night, this is the most powerful one. Magnesium chloride can melt down to negative 15. Meanwhile, sodium chloride can melt down to just positive 15 degrees. Now we'll put these in the freezer and see if they get similar results. These just sat in the freezer for about 45 minutes. Let's see how they're doing. Table salts, back to being frozen. Magnesium chloride, still liquid. Calcium chloride, still liquid. So when it gets really cold, calcium chloride or magnesium chloride, look for those products in the ice melt bags. Those are the ones that will keep melting the ice even after you go to bed.
Winter's gotten off to a fast start with 3.6 inches of snow on the 1st of December officially in Kansas City. But overall, this weather pattern is not conducive to big and frequent storm systems. So I'm going to go 16 inches of snow this winter. Average is 18. Yes, a little bit below average for this winter in Kansas City for snowfall.
All right, everybody, meteorologist Caleb Chevalier here, and it's my turn to give you some thoughts on our prediction for the snowfall expected throughout the season for Kansas City. Lots to look at, from long-range outlooks of temperature, precip, global oscillations, and I could give you a range here, but let's just go for the big bang and give you a solid number, predicting 16.4 inches of snow in Kansas City for this season.
Right now, there really is no clear-cut signal as to how this season's snowfall is going to pan out. Now, there are subtle hints pointing toward near or slightly above normal snowfall for the season. So I'm going bold here on my predictions. 19 to 20 inches of snowfall this season.
My prediction for the 2025-2026 winter is 21.1 inches of snow. I mean, we're already off to a great start. Earlier this week, we got about 3.5 inches. So I think we're setting ourselves up to be nearly as snowy as last year. Hopefully it doesn't come with the whole ice storm to blizzard combo. Thanks for joining us for this winter weather special.
Make sure you download the KSHB 41 app and turn on your notifications so you'll always be prepared when winter weather is coming.
And when there's weather in your area, we'd love to see your photos. You can send them to pics@kshb.com.
Thanks for tuning in. We'll see ya.
Get ready for winter. Sponsored by NFM.